Before we get started, anyone interested in ordering Mr. Lindell's 4-CD set, go to metaphysicalarttheater.com. For those in the U.S., you can order physical copies or the digital downloads. For those outside the U.S., you can order the digital downloads by going to metaphysicalarttheater.com.
How you doing, sir?
Oh, just fine, thank you. I know you're doing okay. How are you doing with that storm?
Oh, we fared very well. It did not hit us here in this portion of Georgia, so we were fine. How about you guys in the fires? I know there's a lot of fires. Any way by the
Yeah,
fires?
well, it's pretty well north of us.
Okay. So today we want to talk about a movement of mind. And I want to kind of touch on Neville's story, and then I'll go into it. Neville said that one night while he was dreaming, he had a vision, and he said the same way that he doesn't move in his dreams, neither does he move in reality. It's just a movement of mind. Now, when I visit you, you had all of these beautiful pictures in your office, and you told me, you said, listen, I don't have to go anywhere. I can just focus on one of those pictures, and I can travel to that destination in my mind. Talk to me about that.
I'm there.
You're there.
I'm there. And when I'm there, this is a dream. And when I'm here, that's a dream.
Wow.
And that's the whole beautiful thing about it is that you can do that back and forth. It's not difficult, but it does take focus. It takes paying attention, because holding your attention even for a few moments is really very difficult without thinking of something else. Yeah. And that's what you've got to discipline yourself a little. Hey, it took me 2 years to actually just be calm enough with myself to focus long enough to have an incident. And I had an incident. And that's what I'm sharing with you, was that incident when something was revealed to me first person.
Wow.
And that's all I want to share with you. It didn't come from me. It's not something I studied. It came through me. And that's what's happening right now. It's coming through me. I hope you understand that your mind is so powerful. It's indescribable, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, as to how powerful it is. And you start playing with it just like I'm playing with the computer to learn what I'm doing. and it's not going too well. But you see, it's what you're focused on. It draws to itself to build. And what you're building is you're building your confidence. And that's what everybody is looking for, is more confidence, because that's what success is, your confidence. And you have to focus on it constantly to really get the effect you want to get, to cause things to happen as you think you are. That's a very simple message. And it tells you that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, so does he, so has he, on and on throughout the scriptures. Your thinking makes it so. What are you thinking? That's the question you want to ask yourself constantly. Is it leading me where I want to go? Fine, expand on it. If it's not, drop it. Isn't that the whole story?
That is the whole story. And as we're talking about a movement in mind, you said, listen, you have to concentrate, you have to focus. And you said, listen, as a man, woman thinks in his heart, her heart, so is they. And the thing is, the heart, we're not talking about the muscle in the chest. We're talking about the mind, the subconscious mind at a deeper level. And whatever it is that we believe. And you said it took you 2 years to get to a place where you receive the revelation. But you sought the revelation, because without seeking it, there would have been no revelation.
That's right. Seek and you shall find. You see, it says shall find. Now, it's not maybe or guesswork. You shall find. If you seek seriously, you will find. I guarantee you. If it happened to me, it'll happen to anybody.
Yeah.
That's the case. You already own it all. You have to claim it. That's what this is all about. You're here to claim your inheritance. And it is an inheritance. You're supposed to have it, but you have to claim it to get it. Isn't that it?
It is it. And I like that you said you already own it all. You made me think about the prodigal brother. He says, Father, you've never given me a fatted calf. And Father says, son, all that I have is yours. And it goes back to what you said. We already own it all.
That's right. And all the information you need is really right with you. But all you have to do is focus on it. Because what has your attention has your life. I mean, you're always thinking ahead of your evidence. So if you're pursuing any problem or any situation at all, it's in your mind now to settle it. And you can settle anything in your own mind. But it does take a little discipline. And that was really my nemesis. It's just being patient with yourself is really a chore. You accomplish that, and the rest of it comes easy. Because what you've done when you actually are in charge, you're seeking the kingdom of God, and you're told if you seek the kingdom of God, you not only will you find it, but everything else will be added on to you. Well, what do you want? Do you know? Do you have it in mind clearly what you want to accomplish? If you do, you'll make it. If you don't, you won't. Wouldn't you say?
I would say. You said, if you seek the kingdom of God, everything else will be added to you. And when you said that, revelation bubbled up in my own spirit, because it's so true. We keep thinking that the kingdom of God, of course, is something out there, or it's this experience that's outside of ourselves. But when we understand that we are the kingdom and the kingdom is within us, then we can have whatsoever.
Yeah, Jesus said it. I and my Father are one, even as you and I are one. That's it. You're one with them. He says, I suffer with you, but you behold me not. So why are you suffering? God's with you. You see, he gave you choose this day, and you are on all the time choosing this day, aware or unaware. And all we're trying to tell you is that the more aware you are, the better off you are. Isn't that so?
That is so. That is so. And so as we're talking about the kingdom of heaven, let's make it clear and let the audience know what we're talking about is the kingdom of their mind.
Yes, that's right. It's all mind. Yeah. Even this vegetable mind is great, but you have the mind to operate from. You have the power to operate from, because you're told choose this day, and whatsoever is the potential of your choosing. So it would really benefit you to stop and really consider what it is you are thinking about, and just ask yourself, is this leading me where I want to go? And if it isn't, stop it. Change channels or something. Whatever you do to change your mind, that's how you change your world. And the first does the second. You understand? You change your mind, that does change your world. So whatever you're thinking feelingly about, that's what you're going to experience. If you don't want to see it in your world, don't sit and think about it. And worry is just the opposite of faith, isn't it?
And they're both prayers.
Yeah, and they're absolutely. That's a good point. They are both prayers. It's all included. That's the reason. Someone says, "Well, what is this fear of God? The fearing of God?" No, God didn't give you the spirit of sickness. God didn't give you the spirit of fear. He gave you choose this day, and you are doing so. And all we're telling you is it's either aware or unaware. And unaware is not really wise, is it?
It isn't. It isn't. So going back even to the fear, it's not God that we need to fear, but it's what we're giving our attention to if it's not what we want to manifest. Would you agree?
Yes. Hey, look, if you don't want to see it in your world, don't think about it. It's that simple. If you don't speak it, it don't happen. But you are speaking it, and it is happening. And you're wondering, why me? Why this? Why now? Because as you think, you are, you do, you have, you be. If you understand that, it's your attitudes. All these books around here all say the same thing about man. Man is his attitude. What is your attitude? And you can find out if you just sit in the silence for a little while and actually focus on what it is you're trying to make real in your world of experiencing. Because the only reality here is you. Everything else is a virtual reality, and it all goes away. And even the body goes back to the earth. But your spirit, and that's what you want to focus on, that you are spirit. You don't die because there's nothing transforming in death. You die a ding-dong, as I said, you get played ding-dong again. And I've probably played it plenty of times.
You asked
about you did too.
I did. Quite often. I probably even played the ding dong this morning, to be honest with you. You asked the question, what is the attitude? And you said, listen, in order to find out what your attitude is, you need only to go into the silence and find out what it is that you're giving your attention to. Now, the other side of that is look at your fruit. So you can go into the silence, and if you're not aware of what it is that you're giving your attention to, look at your lifestyle. Your lifestyle is not going to deceive you. Whatever it is that you're manifesting in your lifestyle is the byproduct of your attitude and what you've been giving your attention to. Would you agree?
That's it. I mean, people come in for a private interview, and for the first 5 or 10 minutes, they're trashing themselves. And I'm telling, why are you doing that? And they say, well, but that's how I feel. Well, then start feeling different. I mean, come on. It's as you think you are. That's very simple. You can't, how could you get around that? Is there any way to get around that idea? As you think you are. I mean, it's very right in your face, isn't it?
I have not discovered a way around it, but if I find a way around it, I'll let you know.
Okay, I know I won't hear from you.
That's true.
Look, when I first started, I was going to disprove this. Yeah. And all I did was wind up proving it. Yeah. And that's what everyone will do. And you'll be shocked. And you'll even be very intimidated by the fact that it was right in front of your face and you couldn't see it. I couldn't believe, I could not see what was right in front of me. And I was operating from it, and not only operating from it with power, but the power, because you're given choose this day, and you're doing so because you're told you're praying ceaselessly. Well, and someone says, well, but my prayers aren't answered. Well, no, that's not really true, because they are answered. But how are you asking? I mean, that's very important. Do you expect your prayer to be answered? Well, what do you expect to get? That's what you get, what you expect. So if you go in not expecting to get it, well, just stay home.
Yeah. You often say that you don't get what you want, you get what you expect.
That's it. That's absolutely true. Absolutely. It's the same with everything. Look, this is all on automatic. You're sent here with one purpose, and that is to actually direct your own inner conversations, because they're leading you through life. What are they leading you to do in life? What you're saying. What are you saying? Do you know? Or is it just like off the cuff? Look, if you're angry, you feel the angry. If you're upset, you feel the upset.
So you said if you're angry with yourself.
Yeah. Well, you're being angry, you feel the angry. Even if it's against someone else, you're feeling it. So it's against you too. So why would you want to go through life feeling angry when you're told it as you think you are? Does that make sense?
It doesn't make sense in doing it, but it makes sense what you're saying. And I hope that the listener is getting, it's like somebody said, it's like taking poison unto yourself.
Yes, it is. Well, like I said, they have so much about suicide. Everybody commits suicide.
Yeah.
We were given a perfect body, and it was perfect. And even if it wasn't when you were born, you can make it perfect. Because look, were you not told that by Jesus' stripes you're healed?
Yes.
And he's already received the stripes.
Yeah.
So all you have to do is claim your healing, and he's already paid for it. He's already paid for everything. You have a free ride if you'll stop putting yourself down. Isn't that it?
It is it. I think a lot of times when we look at the promises of Scripture, we want to give God an out, and we'll say, yeah, I know that, but.
But. That kind of ends all conversations, doesn't it?
It does.
Well, actually, all you have to do is really just find out what your own attitudes are. And believe me, I thought I knew what my attitudes were. But when you really start being honest with yourself, you find that you have many, many attitudes that you really would be better off without. And you can let go of them if you stop bringing them up. See, every time one pops up in your world, just deny it, because you have the right to deny anything, even yourself. And that's what we're talking about. That's what you're denying. You're denying yourself by not listening to what your own message was. This is not our message to you. It's your message to you. That's all we're doing, is delivering your message. And all you have to do while you're here is just order your conversations aright in accordance with, as you're told to, and that is, think only on things that are lovely and of good report. Only. Think only on things lovely and of good report, and that's what you'll experience. Isn't that so?
It is so. Now, what we're not saying, especially in the early stages, you said it took you 2 years to overcome some things and to work through some things. So we're not saying that it's easy. We're saying that it's necessary. But as you begin practicing, controlling, being mindful of what it is that you're giving your attention to, then it's going to become easier and easier. And as Mr. Lindell said earlier, he says, we've been given one mission, and that's to direct our own inner conversation, or what we would call our self-talk.
That's it. That's all there is to it. And there's no pressure applied. No one's pushing you. You're not forced to do anything. It's what you're thinking, feelingly about is what you're experiencing. And if you want to change, you can. You were given how to change. And it says, change your mind, change your world. And the first does the second. So you understand you're on all the time. So you go into church and you pray, but then are you still in the same mindset going out, getting in the car and going home? Are you still thinking that way? You see you hear a brake squeal and it's all gone. Look, when I gave talks at the theater, by the time I got out there and got in the car, I forgot half of what I told you. And no, I'm serious. Because you see, it's coming through me. It's not coming to me. So I'm focusing on sending it to you, not hearing it. Although I do hear it, but not like I would if I was sitting still and focusing. Talking to an audience, it's a little bit different. And this is a little bit different too.
Yeah.
I actually see you. Oh, well. Attitude awareness and imaginational control. You get these two working for you and you're okay. Wouldn't you say?
I would say, and you said some things, and it's true. Somebody had inquired with me recently. I had posted a talk or something out, and they asked the question, where did you get this information from? And they said, where did you study? And I told them it wasn't about study. Now, it's not that I don't study. It's not that we don't study. But in the study, revelation is given, things that I could not imagine, things that I could not come up with on my own at a head knowledge level. So I understand what it is that you're saying. So I told them that it was given to me as a gift from spirit. And I said, listen, I don't want this to sound super spiritual or anything like that. I just want you to understand that it was given to me, but it's given because I asked. And when we ask, we receive.
That's it. You receive not because you ask not, or that you're asking amiss. And I can tell you, all the whining and crying you do in front of God, that is not going to help you one bit, because all you're doing is setting yourself up for more of the same thing.
Yeah.
Because subconscious mind is what directs what you're thinking and feeling into your world of experiencing. So if you don't want to experience it, as I said, let it alone. Let sleeping dogs lie, so to speak. Because I'll tell you, you can completely destroy yourself in a moment. And actually, most who have destroyed themselves have done so that quick.
Yeah.
But attitude, it's an attitude. And why do you have such an attitude? Because someone gave it to you free of charge, and you accepted it, because otherwise you wouldn't have it. You got these attitudes from somebody just listening, by the hearing of the ear. And that's how you get all your spiritual knowledge too, by the hearing of the ear. But you're supposed to be guarding the gate. And that's your job. You guard the gate. What goes in has an effect on you, unless you're identifying it as an effect you don't want and discarding it. And you can do so. It just takes a little discipline. It takes a focus. That's what it takes, isn't it?
It is. You said something. You said this thing can take place in a moment, and it's so true. I was listening to a gentleman, his name is Ice-T, his stage name is Ice-T, and he was talking about a friend of his named Spike, and Spike had been incarcerated for like 27 years, and they were both on the same path, but Ice-T decided to get into the rap business, and Spike continued to be out there on the streets hustling. But what Ice-T said, listen, he said, I can build up a lifetime of good works, as it were. He said, but in a moment, all of that can be destroyed with just one single act. So it goes back to what you said. It can change literally in a moment.
Yes. I'm sure many people have experienced exactly that happening in a moment.
Yeah.
And the only thing is that you are setting yourself up. You're either setting yourself up or you're setting yourself free. You know what you're talking to yourself about, or you, at least you should, at least some of it, because look, you're told by God that they are makers of themselves. They themselves are makers of themselves. You accept other people's ideas without examining them to see if there's anything in it you really want to experience, because you will. I'm telling you, you will experience it. If you think about it long enough, you'll experience it. Then why not think on things that are lovely and of good report, right?
Absolutely. And it goes back, you said something earlier, and I want to touch on it real quick. You said, what goes in, if you don't deal with it, if you don't cancel it, it's going to be outpictured in your reality. So it goes back to what you just said. If you got to think of something, why not think of lovely and good report if that's what you want to manifest in your life?
Well, that's what you're told, isn't it?
Yeah.
That you have charge, you're in charge. I mean, you were given control. You were given choose this day. So you're in control. If you're not controlling it, well, that's what you're experiencing. And even God says, I suffer with you, but you behold me not. So he's allowing you and anyone else to do whatsoever. Look, God knew that if he gave people whatsoever to choose from, that they'd choose from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not wisely.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
he knew that. So he already knew that you needed help. And all the help you need is conveniently nearer than hands and feet.
Yeah.
So what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
I waited and waited. I don't know what I was waiting for. Do you know what you're waiting for? Do you
No clue.
really? I really, I didn't have a clue. And then suddenly, when someone told me to sit in a silence and contemplate and meditate, I didn't know what. I don't on off. No, I really don't know how to tell you that you're in charge of your life. I know you don't think you are, but you really are. You, like I said, you're making decisions all the time. You're thinking feelingly all the time, but what are you thinking about? Because that's what you're going to experience. Isn't that so?
It is so. So it really goes back to our topic, movement in mind. Whatever mind is moved to do, that's what we outpicture in our reality.
Yes. Yes. And people say, well, but I had this, I heard someone speaking on my head and told me to do this. No, there is no one else speaking in your head. It's all you.
Yeah.
It's you in different stages. Look, we all get caught up in the drama of the play of humanity. And it, as Shakespeare said, it's the stage. And all the men and women are merely just actors. And that's what you're doing. You're acting out a part that you chose to do because no one else can choose it for you. You have to accept it. They could wish it on you and curse you on it and all of that, but it's what you think about it. That's what's important, isn't it?
It is. And I like that you went back to no matter how many voices a person may be hearing in their head, you're the only speaker, whether you understand it or not. So you have to take control by choosing this day, this moment, right now.
Discipline. That's all it is. And all you have to do is just discipline yourself to listen to what you're saying to yourself. And if you approve of it, fine, expand on it. If you don't, drop it. It's as simple as that. And it's all you have to train yourself to do. And if you do that over and over and over, suddenly you'll start receiving revelations and how to do things. And it opens the whole box. And that's what you're told to do. Open and quicken what you find agreement with in your own heart. This is not telling you what to do. It's telling you that you are doing what you're thinking feelingly about. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You said, listen, you got to do what you find agreement with. And what we know is that we're bombarded by, if not billions, trillions of thoughts. And we grab those thoughts and we say, I choose that one. Or we say, where did that come from? I didn't. And so sometimes immediately we catch a thought that does not agree with us and we cast it off right away as that was crazy and you're going about your business. But not everybody does that. Sometimes a person has a crazy thought and they run with it.
Yeah, well, you see, that's the whole thing. What has your attention has your life.
Yeah.
And if it's nonsense, well, yeah, you just gave yourself to nonsense.
Yeah.
And it's a very simple thing that you're told to be in the world, but not to be of the world. The world's consciousness is kind of scattered. Yeah. And that what you want to do, you want to refine yours. And you can, because that's the discipline. Think clearly, and you'll have a clear life. You're told, think only on things that are lovely and of good report. And I like that word limits you right there. Think only on things, because if you think on things that are not lovely and of good report, you see, that's why the warning says about the fear of God, because he said, as you think you are, you will experience it. You are experiencing. They themselves are makers of themselves. You don't need anybody else's help to do this. Once you understand that you can do it, and that's what we're here to tell you, is that you can do it. He didn't leave you off the list of can do it. You can.